the recipient of 4 distinct awards, including Best MTech Performer at IIT Roorkee. Dr. Tiwari sir has to his credit 11 years of research and professional experience in water resource engineering, and with a focus on river engineering, flood management using RS and GIS, remote sensing and GIS, hydraulic structures, irrigation. Dr. Tiwari sir has also served as consultant technical at Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India. Dr. Tiwari sir has worked over 50 prime consultancy projects and taken lead on more than 15 consultancy projects. In his credit, over 50 national and international levels research papers in reputed national and international journals as well as conferences. Dr. Tiwari sir has delivered several invited lectures on different aspects of flood and river management at different stages, and he is the active member of several technical committee and reviewer of multiple peer reviewed and reputed journals. So on behalf of Civil Engineering Department and Students Chapter of Indian Society for Technical Education of Dr. SNSS Gandhi Government Engineering College Surat, I would like to welcome Harinayan Tiwari sir for accepting the invitation as well as to deliver this talk on this flood concept and tool of practices. Now I request sir to start his session.
Thank you, Dr. Darshan. I think I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your voice is audible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this lecture series. Actually, that what you are organizing through your college, and as you briefed about me, actually we are working in the field of water resource and its allied sector. So today just I will discuss some brief about flood and what are the tools and what are the data tools which can be useful for a practitioner, because after 1 year or 2 year when you are passing through the engineering college, so you have to go to the industry. So what are the needs and what you have to learn, and or what you try to learn within that means your last step of the engineering, like BTech or MTech, what you're doing right now. So I will start sharing my screen, and based on that, because the time is very short, actually I have to go to somewhere for urgent work around 2. So I will finish it up to 1:40, and then 10 to 15 minutes. Then we will try to discuss if you are having any query. Otherwise, you can discuss me after this presentation also. So I am sharing my all the details like email ID or anything, so that you can do. So right now I think I'm just sharing the screen, and what we are trying to discuss here is it's not like a you can say it's not like a typical theoretical sort of things, because after doing PhD we have started this research based consulting, and it is you cannot that means I am not claiming that it's a great success, but we are doing good. So we are working in the field of water resource and its allied sector like environmental, agricultural, water management, and it's a good to work on that the different aspects of water. So flood is one of the aspect, and what we have seen just last few days back in Uttarakhand. So it's really devastating, because what happening in the field, what happening in the research, and what happening in the industry, the all things are very much different. So I will discuss a little bit different from the academic side actually, and it's on the practice side more. So first I will start with that particular, that means what is your idea about the flood. So basically we can classify flood into 3 different aspects. Like one is the riverine flood. Like if you know about that, you are living in the region of river, like suppose for example Gangetic Plain. So that is a riverine flood. What the UP, Bihar, Gujarat, Rajasthan, every year they are dealing with the riverine flood. And in a day of progress or development, like we are tending towards the development, we are trying to develop from the underdeveloped country or to the development stage. So under which there is a risk of urban flood also, because earlier where we are living, that the area is so broad, but now we are living like in Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Chennai. Every year you are just looking into the news channel and everything that there is a flood in the Delhi or Bombay. So urban flood is now also prompt. So it is a part of flood. It is a type of flood, you can say. And the third is the flash flood, what you have seen a last few days back in Uttarakhand. So there are three basic type of floods, and every flood is a risky. So either you have to estimate the risk, either you have to estimate, that means when it will come. So there are lots of research, lots of industrial practices is going on. So I'm just highlighting some of the events. That means you just realize that why it is important, because as a BTech student, I am understanding that in the civil engineering department, basically when I was there 12, 13 years ago as a civil engineer. So as a civil engineer, we are thinking only about the structure. So that is the fact, that because it is presented like that, civil engineer, that means you have to make houses and real estate. So that is not like that. As a civil engineer, water is a broad sector, environment is a broad sector, and it's a very broad. Now I think in a 3-4 years you can see that at the BTech level there is a special course for a water resource, because it is so vast. That means you cannot realize that how it can be. As a civil engineering, it's a vast, as a like a general structural engineering, geotech. So everything is like it's a ocean. So you have to study, you have to understand the things. So first I will just start with the just past events, because a few studies what we have taken after that event and why it has happened. So you just see that the power of tool or power of data, that what we are getting right now in the era of technology. So this is the 20th January 2021 data. So that is showing that the yellow color, you can see that that is the probable place where the event has taken place, and after that in the river. So you can see that there are some white colors are there. So that is snow actually there. So because it's a region of glaciers, and it's upstream side of Uttarakhand. So this is the snow. And if you just see that, that means why this event triggered. So you just realize that if you go to the image of 5th Feb 2021, that means just a day before that event has taken place. So lots of snowfall in between 3 to 5 February in that region. So due to that heavy snowfall, some of the slope, unstabilized slope, may slides down, and after that this event occurs. I cannot say this as a researcher or as an engineer. You cannot say this is the rare event in the mountainous region. These events are happening, but what happened this time? This event has happened near the area where people are living. So that is the issue. Like there is two power plant is there, hydropower plant which is under consideration, like Vishnugad in Rishi Ganga or something like that. So that is the issue, because when we are going for a development, so there is some issue, there is some risk. So that risk has come, and there are lots of people, I think more than 200 people or 250 people we have lost. So is there any means that the development is not the requirement? Because if you're living in the 21st century and we are saying that okay, only the concern is the environmental only, so you cannot live, because we cannot live without mobile, we cannot live without internet, we cannot live without power, electricity. So we require all the things. So how we have to manage those things with our lifestyle also? So that is also things. So I am just showing that this is the power of remote sensing technology, where you can get the fair idea, that means why the and what why the event has happened, and what is the post effect of that. So you can right now, this is the image of I think just right now 12th or 13th Feb 2021. So it's recedes because snow, after that snowfall there are some melt is there, and after that it recedes. So I'm just showing the power. If you are having a tools, or if you are having a knowledge of these type of tools, so in the industry you can also survive, like in the R&D or in the industry. So this is the that means all the image which is which has been taken from the Earth data NASA website, and this has been analyzed in the GIS platform, either in a quantum GIS or ArcGIS, whatever be available at your institute, that you can do. And the same area, it has been analyzed for the last 10-20 years, the how the snowfall is changing there. So that you can also do with the these type of data center, where you can get the data even before data also, if you are going for a prediction or something like that. So it's merely, it's not directly useful for industry, but now industry is focusing on that, because if there is a loss of 200 people, so you must worry about, as an engineer in a technology age, we have to save that life, and at least we should have some mechanism to save that life. So that is the one thing, that means that what I have shown regarding this flash plus kind of thing, and how you can analyze using tools. And the similar thing I have just analyzed for some of our projects or works, where I'm analyzing the riverine flood. That means this is the river Ganga in alluvial region near Bhagalpur or Munger. So there is, you can see that using this image, you can clearly visualize that how much amount of flood and where it is coming. So if you are having a suppose 10-20 year of series data, so you can easily analyze that these are the flood prone area. If you are developing anything, if you are doing anything, or there is any village, so how you can protect your village. So that should be very useful. And second thing is that when you are utilizing the remote sensing for a water, specifically water resource river engineering, so you have to careful about the validation part also, because people when you are sitting in some industry or working for some department, so people who are not conversant with this type of technology, so they are asking the question whether it is right or not. So because it is only the image what you are analyzing, but based on image, if you are verify from the field, suppose we have done this work from the remote sensing image, and then we have verified whether there is a water or it is showing some wrong reflection there. So is it like that? But basically what you are finding that what the image is showing, it is right. You have to only validate those things in the field, and after sometimes like 10 years, you can say that is pre-validated. Now there is a process that people are pre-validating, okay, it is right, it is not a wrong results, because now it's a early stage of this development in the research or industry. So that you have to be careful if you are analyzing those things using the remote sensing data. So you have to be careful regarding that. And this is the some dam break event in May 2020 in US actually. So you can see that if you are a riparian, that means you are living in the downstream of dams, so how the devastation can take place. So this is the one of the example of flash flood. If you are a downstream riparian of the dam, suppose if you are living in the area where upstream side there is a dam, so as a stakeholder you can ask the dam owner whether we have a risk map or not. Suppose the dam breaks, what happens to my house or what happens to this village? So as a stakeholder, if you are asking a question, then the dam owner have to do these type of works, either in terms of consulting or research or anything, but that should be required, and that should also require the awareness also, because as a stakeholder I don't know, that means what will happen with me if the dam fails. So that is the requirement, and industry is also doing continuously this dam break analysis. There are lots of projects by government of India and state government also, where we are involved with the dam break analysis and all those things to analyze the risk map. And after that risk map, if you are having a risk map of your house or your village, so then if there is any alert to fail of dam, so you can go to the safe place, you can go to the safe area which is demarked in the risk map. So that can happen, and then it is the saving of life, like in the case of earthquake or something which is happening. But in the case of like this water or flood, now it is a emerging area, so you can be a potential people to get this type of industry, to get this type of projects in a well manner, because now you are going to pass from civil engineering department or water resource if you are doing a specialization, so you are a right person to do that, to demand also and to supply also, because you are a stakeholder of water, and all people are stakeholders, so you can demand also and you can supply as an engineer also the solutions. And this is one of the event also which was happened in the sorry which was happened in the past in Delhi itself. And what you can designate that, if you just run this video, you can see that how a muddy type of flow, it's a sewage flow basically, and how it devastated, that means destroyed one proper house. So we can look into that if the people are living there, and that is only happened due to this particular pandemic, because there is a lots of sewage clearance everywhere. But due to this pandemic event, it's not that means happening properly. And after that, when it is not happening properly, so there is a risk of this type of sewage flood in the urban areas specifically. And this is one of the video of failure at a river near Kamla Balan in the Bihar, where we have worked. Why this failed? Because there is a protection work also, but it has failed in the reverse gradient. So whether it is happening regularly, and what are the countermeasure that you can take as an engineer, because there are lots of protection you can see in the map. So uh, basically these videos, why I have shown, there are different type of floods. One you can say the flash flood, one you can say the sewage flood, one is the like dam break is also, it's a flash flood. What image I have shown in a Sentinel 20T0, that is like a riverine flood, and it is happening regularly in every year. So there is nothing new, but when you are as a planner or engineer, so you have to do your work and you have to analyze those things. And as an engineer, just there is a small step. Suppose if there is a river, and you want to analyze why your area is flooding. Earlier it was not flooding. If you are taking a simple example of any alluvial region where the sediment transport is very high, so simple logic you can analyze that. Suppose if there is a bowl and there is a X amount of water, so now it is filled with some of the volume is taken by the sediment. So what happened actually, if your discharge is constant, suppose if your discharge is not increasing as such under the consideration of climate change or something like that, but still your water level is increasing. Why? Because now you are having a lesser space to accommodate those water. So that is the reason, in the some of the reason of like you can consider a downstream of lower Ganga region. So there is a heavy sediment transport, and due to this heavy sediment transport, the bed level is sometimes rising, and we are not actually designing for that. And then the for the lower discharge, even we are getting a high flood level, and if we are getting a high flood level, so inundation area has increased. So that is one of the reason. And when you are as a water resource planner or as a civil engineer, when you are doing the work, so you have to take care of those things also, because it's a water is a clear cut interdisciplinary department. You cannot stick that only you have to do the structure, or only you have to do the geotech, or only you have to do water resource or environmental. It's a mixed of all things. In fact, you have to consider the mechanical or electronics part also, because now the all the instrumentation which is happening with the water resources and everything, it is a simply electronics. And as a water planner, you have to understand at least, maybe you cannot be expert of all those things, but you have to understand the things. That means why, how this instrument is working, what are the parts of this equipment, and how you can improve also if you want to do a research or something like that. So there are lots of scope, and this again, because visual are always explaining. So you can see that this is the 2014 Kashmir flood, and why it has happened you can analyze by yourself as an engineer, because you can understand that this flood has happened, and actually this whole region is in a floodplain. So when the high flood amount is coming, or high flood water is coming, so obviously it will inundate, because we have not planned according to the river. We have planned according to us. And when we are planning only with our comfort, then this type of event will happen, and maybe it will increase in the future. So we have to plan according to river also, because river is having their on space, and we are sometimes encroaching their space, and we are living there. So what can be the methodology, whether the only structural methodology will be sufficient or not? So that you have to think as a engineer or as a planner. Maybe sometimes structural behavior or structural activity for the flood management, maybe it cannot be sufficient. Sometimes you have to opt another possibilities also. And this is the 2013 Uttarakhand flood. Now it's a 2021 happened. So 13 in the Kedarnath, and after that the Haridwar region. If you have anytime visited this place, so this is merely like this is the near the taxi stand in Haridwar. So completely submerged by this flood in 2013. So these type of events basically triggered due to some of the climate change event and some of the our human intervention. So we have to club both, and we have to go for a development also, but within the limit. So what could be the limit that the engineer or planner have to decide with the concurrence of all the parties? It's not like that, because when we are dealing with suppose you are a civil engineer and you will go as a after your BTech, you have joined as the government department of water resources. So what is your prospect actually? What you are trying to do? As a water resource engineer, you are focused to do that. Okay, I have to save this, I have to see the structural part, I have to design the dam. But when you are designing the dam, so you have to consider the environment, you have to consider the forest, you have to consider the society also. Likewise, same the environmental people have to do also. What they are doing, that suppose in environmental part, what they are doing, they are directly opposing, but for a opposition you have to give the reason also. Suppose if you are opposing the, okay, this work cannot be done, because after this 2021 flood, the environmental peoples who is doing lots of environmental works, what they have done, they are doing that, okay, you have to the eco-friendly concrete, you have to do the eco-friendly projects, but you have to define also how that can be done. If that cannot be done, whether we are able to that means take that type of lifestyle change where we are only getting the 5 hours electricity, is it sufficient for us? If it is sufficient for us, maybe our this type of event will be less. So we have to optimize somehow in between. Otherwise, only saying is that, okay, this will I will do that, okay, this is not my area, I am only opposing this, or I am only supporting this. So as a researcher, or as a researcher come, now we are doing some small entrepreneurship with our foundation, but I am not supporting anything extreme. Either it is a flood, or as a water resource engineer, or as a environmental, or as a socialist. I want to combine all those things and try to put a best solution. So that is the beauty of engineers, and that is the beauty of our country also, where we are trying to optimize the things, and in optimization you have to take the pain also. Because as a water resource engineer, suppose you just you went to the department and you are now a chief engineer, but in your mindset it is that, okay, I am the chief engineer of WRD, why I take care of environment, or any people who is working in the environmental. So that may not sufficient, or that may not survive your purpose, what we are thinking. As a student, we are having a broad thinking, I know. But as we are going towards the seniority level, we are shrinking. Okay, shrinking is it's a nature, because from zero we are expanding and then going towards the zero. So it's a life cycle. But at least as a when you are a solution provider, your thought process will be broad. So if your thought process will be broad, obviously you are getting the lesser risk in any project execution. And this is the 2017 Mumbai flood. So there are lots of events. I think you are you aware about all those events which is happening in the recent past. Actually, why I am sharing this thing that what I'm just trying to share that particular events, because I'm trying to find out why are you that what are the causes of flood more disastrous. Is that only the discharge is changing, or is there any we are making a more structural intervention, or we are not thinking about the rivers, or we are not thinking about the floodplains. So there are all three causes are there. So combination of these, what we are feeling day to day, either in city of Chennai, either in city of Hyderabad, everywhere we are feeling. But beside feeling, when we are not directly discomfort under this problem, so we are not going to solve this. So just feel the problem, and after feeling this problem, go for a study or research or industrial projects and just do the works. What we are trying to do with the projects. And these are some of the cows, because there are long list if you just do it, because I have to finish it off because it's a very long presentation. It's actually very long, and I have planned for almost 1.5 hours, but due to some works I have to go. So I'm very sorry for that, but I will share this presentation and it's very useful for you people. Just go through it, and after going through, if you are having any doubt, because you cannot understand all the part, and that's the truth, because lots of things from the research, lots of things from industry, and lots of things in general, but I have tried to make it in general so you can understand. So you just if you are seeing that this analysis of this flood damage area all over India, so just you can see that trend. What are the trend? So you can see the trend is decreasing after 1990 all over India, flood damage area. So what we as a civil engineer, what we have done during 1970 to 1990 in the country. So if you will look into that in a water resource segment specifically, we have made lots of embankment and lots of structural intervention. So obviously, if we suppose our village is getting submerged in the flood, we have made the embankment, and then our village is safe. So flood damage area is reducing. So that is the fact, because that is the fact based on the data of Ministry of Jal Shakti, or you can get the data from the Central Water Commission portal also. So, but when in the same time you are analyzing the losses, so losses has increased exponentially. So that is the point where you have to consider the optimization, because what we are trying to do that, okay, we are trying to save our land, we are trying to save our our area, but in the same time we are not so much economical, and we are not so much getting a lesser loss. So we have to understand those things, why the losses has increased. In fact, in the loss, the human loss has also increased. If you will see, look into the table of that CWC report. So you have to think that if the flood area has decreased, maybe sometimes the flood is coming in the wetland area. So that may not be harmful for us. So, but we have made the embankment, and after that embankment break, just immediate to embankment, there is a small village, and completely it washed away, like in Kosi in 2008, Kusaha Bridge. Lots of people has got washed by Kosi. So we have to think regarding any interventions what we are planning in the water sector. What are the consequences if we are making? Have you prepared the risk maps? If there is a risk map, what is the risk for village or country level? Sorry, village level, state level, or our house level. So is there available? Maybe up to the house level it will take time, because it requires also data. Only saying that okay, just prepare the map. So no one can prepare the map, either me or any researcher or any consultant. They require the data, and in the data you have to do the analysis. as a engineer or a researcher. So after this, I have just purposefully put this development of road in India, so you can understand via this that when any road or infrastructure development is there, so what we are disturbing a natural hydrological regimes, because we are cutting a line. Suppose there is a drainage and we are making a road across the drainage, and we have not taken care of that culvert or something like that. So there is a different separate drainage for a road left or road right side. And what's happening when the heavy rain is there, the road is washed away by that particular flood event. So we have to take care in the development of infrastructural development, either in the societal development. If you come to the Delhi or Noida part, you just say some of the reasons. The property developer has developed their real estate business, but they have not considered, never considered this hydrological consideration, whether if the flood or embankment damage will happen, then what will happen to the society. So some of the society is submerging in every year, either in Noida or Gurgaon. So that is the fact. So that as engineer you have to consider, and these are some the trend analysis always. I'm just skipping some of the slide because I have to finish in 10 minutes, and then we will discuss something. So this is the trend analysis, and these are some of the important website which you can access at free of the cost, and where you can get the different type of data. Actually, you will get only the data. You have to convert into the information, because data is different thing and information is different thing. What information you want or industry want or people want, so you have to convert data into information. So this is the precipitation map near the Nepal and Bihar that we have analyzed for one project using the earth data. I have given the website details also. So there you can go and just log in like Facebook or Instagram, anything, and then you can go to your area and just find out what are the changes here. So you just try to start working on these type of area. So that will be helpful for your credential also. That will be helpful for your research or any industry involvement. So these are the some of the website. From there you can get, like for a topographic feature, you can go the Carto DEM version 3R1, which is a Bhuvan website. It's an Indian website where you can go and just create the digital elevation model for your area and just analyze something in using the quantum GIS and ArcGIS for your water resource engineering. So that is very much of interesting also. It's a practical work. So you may, in your project, 6-month project, you can do just take an area randomly and you just analyze the topographic, what is the feature and how we can understand. So that would add the additional, because everyone is I think studying the same subjects. So what is your USP to the industry or R&D institution? What is your unique selling point in the terms of marketing? If you are selling yourself to the industry, so what is your unique point when you are trying to study these small things? It's very small, and it will take hardly sometimes 1 month, 2 months time to understand. I'm not saying that you will be expert of that, but at least try to use these type of platforms which is freely available, and you can go to that site, just analyze, okay, this is the data. Then you are that means very much for industry ready. Because when suppose I am recruiting some people for my company, so I'm asking these type of small things, because now it's a technology driven century. So you must equipped with this technology or tools, small. So using these tools, I'm just coming into the data and analysis part. So there are lots of website which is available. So you just consider only one. I'm just suggesting to all the peoples, one people only, you can just go through one, because otherwise you will get confused. Because for me, since I'm doing this for 12-13 years, so I have more than 10% idea than you. So I'm not an expert in all, but I have more idea because I have a 10 years of additional experience than you. So, but when you start today, and then you will realize, okay, this type of data is available there, what is the use and what you can use in your projects or in your industry where you want to go, or why you want to make your unique selling point for this one. So that is the very much useful. This is the website from USGS. This is the website from India. It's from ISRO. This is again by ISRO Bhuvan. What I am asking about this satellite digital elevation model. This is the data supply portal by the Ministry of Earth Science. Although it is not free, but it is useful for industrial purpose. If you want to take the data from this particular website, and in the same times you can, if you are efficient with the coding or programming, so you can download these data at a free of cost and then program your data, and you can get the information from these data. It is similar to this portal, but in this you must have some programming skills also to analyze these data. And these are some of the important atlas of India. It's a PMP, probable maximum precipitation atlas, which can be useful for any type of projects where you would like to design anything, and you would like to, okay, how much maximum rainfall can happen in this area, so that you can directly take from this atlas. This is really released by CWC and IMD combinedly in 2019-20, and it's very good for industry also. And in the same time, it's area of Maharashtra where we have analyzed some of the global precipitation data, so which is also useful to analyze the spatial precipitation. And in the same time, you can find out the temporal changes also, like what the 2017 flood, what I have shown in Mumbai earlier via the picture. So you can just look into that, why the flood has come. You just look the peaks, how it comes millimeter per hour, so how heavy it is. So if you would like to design for this particular event for your stormwater design or sanitary design, so you require the data, and sometimes the data is not directly available with the department. So in that situation, what you will do, you have to go for this type of technological or tools, and then you analyze, okay, 50 mm or 60 mm per hour, you have to design for that. Otherwise, what you can take, if you are not having data, you just assume, okay, 20 mm per hour. But it's only better than assumption. You just go through the data and analyze those data for that area and take those data, and that may be more reliable than what you are assuming only. And these are some some of the R&D works we have done. And this is the one of the recent development in Earth Engine by the Google, where you can program, and you would like to, if you would like to develop your own program for any data analysis which is available with the Google. So they have given the list of data, and for that data, if you want to analyze like flood map or any land use, land cover change, or anything which is available with a satellite, like you can say the vegetation growth of vegetation, so everything. But you must have idea about a Python program, and based on that Python program, you have to go for your programming, and then you can go for results. So it's very good if you are interested because somehow in the BTech level, people are very interested in programming. So you just go for this programming, but in the programming, you must have idea about three things. One is the programming, second is the water resource engineering, and third is the satellite imagery technology, like that is a remote sensing technology. So if you are having all three combination, then you can go for only these type of things. But if you start in like you are in a final year, you can start with right now, and then maybe 2-3 years you will get lots of things in this. So that is the, I think I will not continue this right now. Maybe I will just take some another time after month or something like that for you also. So I'm just summarizing these. These are some tools, and after that, this is some of the example what we have done through the Google Earth Engine. And this is the flood mapping in July, in 7 July to 8 August in Bihar region, Bihar. So these are some R&D projects what we have done, and these are some tools what we are using. Some of the tools are paid, some of the tools are free of cost also. So like QGIS is the freeware that you can also use. Now the version has changed. I think 3.18 or 20 has come. It's 3.12 only written, but 3.20 has come. Likewise, there are lots of models like HIC HMS or HIC RAS. There are different models. So when until you are starting these things in this level, then you can understand, okay, this is your requirement right now for a project, or right now for your BTech project, right now for an industrial project, and go to the online version. There are lots of training. In fact, we are also providing some of the tool training separately. I will just I have mentioned in the last slides. You can go through it. I will not go through in detail. And these are some of the results through that modeling in Gujarat only, near the Barodara. What we have tried a random modeling to the students. That means how they can model if there is a river data, and if you are having a flow data. So how you can analyze that, what is the amount of flood it is coming, how much area is getting inundated. So that you can do. And these are the some dam break history of India. So it's I have put some of these things. I'm just skipping this, and I think thank you. I will share this particular presentation with you also, because I have something to share also. But since due to the time constraint, I'm very much sorry for you. And thank you very much, Dr. Sun. If there is any query.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful session. I hope that student will get advantage out of it, and definitely student will learn something if they want to work on this particular area, like on flood management or flood damage assessment, or any rainfall runoff modeling, or any other tools which you had already shared with the students. And the work which you have shared among the students of our institute, the real work which you already had carried out, and already you undergoing this work. So definitely our UG as well as the PG students, they will get benefits out of it. And PG students also will get advantage to select their dissertation and thesis topic if they are interested to work on this particular domain, on flood or any other related areas. So on behalf of Civil Engineering Department and students chapter of our Indian Society for Technical Education of our institute, I would like to thank again for accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time to deliver such a informative and wonderful session among our students. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Darshan. Actually, I am just inquiring